In this video, we'll descend with you 130 meters underground, see unique salt mines, marvel at lakes, facts and unreal places, as well as get into the atmosphere of the tiny Polish town of Wieliczka. Enjoy the tour! It's easy to get to Wieliczka from Krakow by train or bus. We choose the second option because it is faster. Bus 304 runs to Wieliczka every 10 minutes, the trip takes 22 minutes and the ticket costs 6 zlotys per person. We just arrived in Wieliczka and I immediately rushed to share our first impressions. It's very cozy here, it's a very nice little town. This is not Krakow, where it's loud, noisy and lots of cars, and here are such small beautiful houses, birds singing, lots of greenery. Wow, I like it here already. Wieliczka is a small town in the Malopolska voivodeship, not far from Krakow, with a population of about 20,000 people. We have already had a chance to walk here, to walk through the private sector, along some streets, and I can say that the feeling is the most pleasant. How calm it is here, how quiet it is. And also the weather is just super, it's warm, pleasant, and you just want to walk slowly, not hurrying anywhere. Good thing we got here early, so we are all packing our bags from Krakow, moving to Wieliczka and living here. The main value and I would say pride of Wieliczka is of course its salt mines, where we will definitely go down. In the meantime, we'll show you a couple of places in the town itself that also deserve your attention. The first location I think is obvious. It's a local market square. It's a very cozy square with 8 trees branching off of it. Now let's practice our visualization and imagine that this location is a 3D drawing of Salt World, which was here, but which is not. There are also sculptures of miners here, so you can immediately understand what Wieliczka is famous for. Very close to the square is the Krakow Salt Museum, another great place to go. Yes, the area is under renovation, but the museum is open. By the way, it's located in a medieval castle, quite beautiful, and inside there is exposition dedicated to, as you have already guessed, the Wieliczka salt mine. And oh yay, we are moving towards our main goal for today. I am really excited because the Wieliczka salt mines are something incredible and unique of its kind in the whole world, so the most interesting things are waiting for you. Don't switch. The ticket costs neither much nor little 134 zlotys. You can buy it on the website of Wieliczka or already on the spot. I recommend the first option because the tickets may be already sold out and it's in principle more convenient. You just choose the language of the tour and take your seat. Yes, you can't walk around the mine on your own, only with a guide. There are a lot of language options. We chose Ukrainian and there can be up to 40 people in the group. There are a lot of people of many different nationalities here because, as I said, there is a large selection of two languages. There are still a lot of people in the ticket area, so I advise you to buy your ticket online. And the area here is very beautiful. There is a park, a restaurant, beautiful houses. All in all, it's very beautiful. Well, it's time to go down into the mines themselves. The Wieliczka mines are huge underground salt labyrinths consisting of 9 levels and 2,000 chambers that unlike each other. This place is so unique in its kind that only in 2022 it was visited by more than 1 million tourists from 179 countries. You have two options for the route, tourist and miner. We chose the former. The mines of Wieliczka, by the way, are already more than 700 years old. At that time, in the 13th century, salt was a very valuable raw material, and while trying to extract salt water, people accidentally stumbled upon the first blocks of rock salt. And then everything went its own way. Mine shafts were dug one after another, the levels became larger, and the output grew rapidly. By the end of the Middle Ages, up to 350 people worked in Wieliczka, and salt production will reach 7-8 tons per year. At the same time, time, Wieliczka began to attract its first visitors. By the way, the first famous tourist was Nicholas Copernicus himself. In fact, a salt monument in his honor was placed here in the same name. Wieliczka continued to develop. The mines were already operating all year round, not seasonally as before, and tourists were coming here in greater and greater numbers, despite the fact that you could only get here with the king's permission. Even during the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, when Wieliczka stopped being Polish, the new governors actively promoted mining tourism. It got to the point that they organized a whole parade of attractions for the guests: horse street car, Ferris wheel, miners' descent, orchestra, fireworks. You could even take a boat right on the Salt Lake, taking you back to the 19th century. In the period between the two world wars, salt production and trade generated very large profits. There were years when production reached 203,000 tons, and during all this time, 120,000 people visited Wieliczka. The most difficult time was after World War II, when the price and storage of salt were not taken care of. At some point, the mining of rock salt stopped completely, and Wieliczka became a purely tourist attraction. By that time, the mine had 9 levels, which are still there today, and its maximum depth was 327 meters. Just look how beautiful it is here. We are now in St. Kinga's Church. It is the only such spiritual place in the world, in the mine, as far as I understand. It looks very beautiful. Come on, let's go downstairs. By the way, all the sculptures and monuments here are made of salt, and that's a very cool fact. And actually there is so much detail here. Just look at how many elements are here. We could look at these rooms for a long time, but unfortunately we don't have much time. We immediately run after our group because there is no other way. They quickly tell us everything, give us some time and leave. Our next stop was the lakes. Yes, there are several salt lakes in Wieliczka, but unfortunately it was very dark in the mines, so you can't see anything on the video, which is a shame. But believe me, the underground lakes are very beautiful and the atmosphere around them seems magical. Just so you know, the shutdown of mining doesn't mean the miners don't work underground. Quite the contrary. Several hundred miners work every day to make sure that the mine is a safe place and preserved as best as possible for future generations. And a couple more facts. These days Wieliczka is still visited by royalty and other dignitaries, and obviously UNESCO has had a hand in this wonderful place. If you decide to go here, be sure to wear comfortable shoes, because there are 800 steps waiting for you. Take 2-3 hours to walk through the mines, prepare to walk 3.5 kilometers of the route at a temperature of 17-18 degrees Celsius. You can go here with children of any age, and some of the underground quarries are adapted for people with disabilities. While we have 5 minutes, I can share that I certainly have tons of impressions. It's a very interesting place, it's interesting to walk around and look at everything. There is just a huge number of rooms, even though we can only go through about 2% of the entire underground labyrinth in Wieliczka. Soon basically our tour will be over and we can walk around on our own. I really don't know where and what places will be available to us, but we will still have time. Wieliczka is also a spa, but you can be treated here not only underground, but also in the salt cooling tower, which is located on the territory of the complex. Entrance to it costs an additional 7 zlotys, but there are also many discounted and family options. What are the benefits of the salt cooling tower? Healthy people here can simply relax and boost their immunity by inhaling salt, and those who suffer from respiratory problems will find relief in their condition, because in fact, by entering this place, you get a dose of inhalation. You can walk around the lower part of the salt cooling tower, or go upstairs and walk around it in a circle, or sit on a bench and watch the salt drip down. After the tour, we were of course hungry, so we decided to eat at the underground restaurant. To make a long story short, we couldn't resist. Prices here are normal for this place, and the food is very tasty and homemade. In general, underground Wieliczka is a separate world, a city, where on the one hand you can walk around the salt labyrinths on a tour. In fact, as I said, only 2% of the wall pass is shown, and how much more is hidden from our eyes. For example, there is such a large hall, or rather a restaurant, where you can organize a banquet underground, and we are about 150 meters underground, so it's cool, beautiful, atmospheric and delicious. But if you thought getting out of the mines was quick and easy, it's not. It takes about half an hour to get out, during which you have to gather a group of tourists, reach the elevator, and climb 130 meters up. We ended up exiting in a different part of the city. By the way to the exit took about 20 minutes and was like a separate tour. We walked down the corridors for a very long time, but thank goodness we got out. By the way, I really want to sleep because we inhaled salt, took salt baths, and had no strength left. Share in the comments what do you think of the salt mines, caves, and the town of Wieliczka itself. Personally, I am delighted with the town and want to come here more than once, and like this video because we tried to make it for you in such a way that it was not boring, didn't overload you with information, but at the same time made it interesting and easy. And we'll see you soon in the next video. Bye!